I'm Chelsea and I'm a registered dietitian here at Health and Nutrition Technology. Today we're going to be utilizing one of my favorite meal replacement flavors, creamy potato soup, and we are going to be making savory waffles. Now the first recipe I'm going to show you is a potato soup deep dish waffle pizza. Now don't be intimidated by the long name. This is a very simple recipe and it takes a lot less time than preheating your oven to 350 degrees and making the traditional Health One pizza crust. So let's get started. I've already preheated my waffle iron so it is ready to go. Now I'm going to take a packet of creamy potato soup, shake it up, in a sense pop the top, and we're going to add our meal replacement to a bowl. Now I've chosen to use a plastic bowl just to show you that you don't have to have fancy, nice china. You can use something as simple as a plastic container. Now you'll remember that I love to pour my water into my packet just to get all that nutrition out. And so very similar to previous methods that were discussed, we want to make a well in the center of our creamy potato soup and pour our water in. Now we're going for a thick consistency here because what will happen is if our batter is too thin, our waffle will essentially separate in the machine and we do not want that. And before I forget, we must add 1 teaspoon of a Bisquick Complete biscuit mix. Now what this is going to do is help the waffle rise. Now what I would encourage you to do is to level this teaspoon off. So if you have a fork or a knife will work as well. Go ahead and scrape back and then scrape forward. And you see, I was not diligent and I got a little on the counter, but that is no big deal because cooking is a process. Now I am going to need to add a bit more water. Go ahead and mix that up. And my wonderful Health One spatula makes this a lot easier to do than if I was using a spoon. Because we want to get all of the meal replacement batter out of the nooks and crevices of our bowl. So, oh, this is wonderful. Now, do you see the batter consistency that I have made for my waffle? Now, since our waffle iron is preheated, we are going to lift it up and we are ready to make our waffle. Now, what I would recommend using is a pan professional grade. Because this is a high heat temperature appliance, you want to ensure that your machine does not get gummed up because you want it to last for many, many years. So I'm going to shake this up and go ahead and spray our waffle iron to make sure we get it in all the nooks and crevices, but that we don't paint our kitchen as well. All right, so we're ready to go. Now, if you cannot find the high heat pan, I would recommend doing the pan for grilling. Now we're gonna just, in a sense, divide this out and place half of the batter into one well of the waffle iron and half of the batter into the second well. And once again, this spatula just works wonders in getting all of that batter out. Because if you're like me and you like to eat for volume and quantity, that is going to be essential. So we're just scraping that out and we are good to go. Now we're going to time this for 40 seconds and 40 to 60 seconds. So I wore my watch and I am ready to time. So we'll give that about 40 to 60 seconds. Now, you may have in your pantry just a regular non-stick cooking spray. Now, while this will be great for baking, meal replacements in the oven, etc., you really do want to avoid using it on these high temperature machines because it will lead to a gummy plate. And so, once again, I would totally recommend a pan for grilling or a high temperature pan. Pan for grilling is a bit easier to be found. However, if you are wanting to go for the pan professional grade, you can easily find this at the big Kmart stores. But if you don't have a big K close to your house, definitely go with the pan for grilling that can be found at any local supermarket. All right, we have a couple more seconds to go on this, and so we have some nice steam coming out of there. Now, what you can do is go ahead and lift this up after you have endured your time, and we can see our waffles, they have that nice golden crust. All right, so we're going to take this up, and depending on how much water you put into your batter is how big your waffles are going to be. So just use a fork and go ahead and remove them from the machine. All right, now you want to go ahead and unplug your machine so we don't have a fire hazard. All right, we're good to go on that, and we can let that cool. Now, in order to make this a deep dish pizza, what we are going to do is, here I have my favorite pizza or marinara sauce. Now, marinara sauces can be tricky because you have to, in a sense, be a label detective once again and investigate the nutrition facts label. So you find the pasta sauce that you like and that has the lowest calories. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and measure out 1 to 2 teaspoons per waffle of sauce. So I'm just gonna put it on here, and it gets into the crevices of the waffle. So I think 2 teaspoons is gonna work wonderful for this. So now we're ready to top our waffle. You can, in a sense, choose to use a variety of different cheeses, anything from the Laughing Cow to Parmesan, or like today, I've chosen to use a part skim or reduced fat mozzarella. So here I have 1/4 of a cup, and what I'm going to do is just measure it out by the teaspoon and measure out 1 teaspoon of cheese on each waffle. And I think it's looking a little scant there, so I'm going to go ahead and add another teaspoon. I can spread it around with my hands because I just washed them. Now, if you have a toaster oven, I would suggest popping your waffle pizza in the toaster oven just till the cheese gets nice and bubbly. But if you don't, popping it in the oven or just eating it right now would be fantastic. So the next time you want deep dish pizza, don't head out to the restaurant. Make your potato soup deep dish pizza and enjoy.